Welcome back. Welcome back. A little bit of a break after Wednesday's game against Duke. There was no weekend game, so we're here on a Monday. Arkansas just defeated the Furman Paladins. Uh, Pretty rough game for the most part. And then it was back and forth. Struggle busing it for a little bit. Arkansas spread their lead out pretty big in the second half. Furman tried to rally late. Didn't weren't able to complete the comeback. Arkansas ended up still winning by 14 points. Pretty solid performance overall, considering the fact that this is right after a Duke game, all that sort of stuff. Letdown games happen. Arkansas managed to get the win. That's what's really important. Did some good things. Really, though, I guess one thing just to kick off the show, Chandler Lawson. I mean, he looked fantastic today.
Yeah, Chandler Lawson had a huge game, getting 19 points on 8 of 10 shooting, super efficient from him, including a three-pointer, by the way. And I believe that three-pointer came after, maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like it came after a defensive play. Either way, yeah, 19 points from him is huge. You're not going to get that very often, but when you do, you better win. But he didn't just score. He played defense like he normally does. He got 3 blocks. He's a block machine. At 6'8", by the way, I'll say that every single time that the dude isn't, some massive big that, you expect to get a bunch of blocks, but he's lengthy, does his job. Didn't get a ton of rebounds today, like he normally does, but I mean, he more than made up for that in the point department. So, yeah, I mean, in 18 minutes, getting 19 points on efficient play, that's big time for the Hogs.
Oh, absolutely. And none of the front court really got a ton of rebounds today at all. Trevin Brazil had 4, Chandler Lawson had 3, Makai Mitchell had 2, Jalen Graham had 3. So not a ton of rebounds from the front court, mainly because your guards were getting so many of them. Arkansas didn't do a great job rebounding today. They allowed 15 offensive rebounds to Furman, but they won the overall rebounding battle 38-35. You'll take a win in the column. You got to get those offensive rebounds down for your opposition. But look, you look at, and we'll talk more about Leighton Blocker and Devo Davis in their full game, but just jumping out the stat sheet right now, Devo Davis had 10 rebounds. Leighton Blocker had 5 rebounds. Those are your 2 leading rebounders in the game. Just a solid rebounding performance from them tonight.
Yeah, and those two dudes are your hustle players, right? Whenever you think of Leighton Blocker, he's just gotten better and better every single game. I think he's had 3 straight really good games. This would make it 4 straight. He had 9 points, I believe, against Memphis, and then 11 against North Carolina, 9 against Duke, and then tonight he dropped another 9-point game. So, I mean, very consistent, except tonight he added those rebounds, like you mentioned. He had 5, and then he had 5 assists to only 1 turnover. I believe in one post-game press conference, Eric Musselman spoke a little bit about Blocker and how he needed to be more of that, distributor at the point guard position. He did that tonight. On top of that, he had 3 blocks. Okay, this is a guard, by the way, a guard that, coming into Arkansas was probably more of a defensive-minded type of guy. So I guess it's not too surprising. And then Devo, like you said, he hasn't really been filling up the stat sheet in terms of points this season. But I mean, in today's game, 10 rebounds from the guard position, 8 assists to 0 turnovers. Early in his career, you'd be pretty surprised if Devo didn't have a turnover in a game, but now he's getting 8 without any. That's huge, especially when L. Ellis has been, pretty inconsistent as of late. He'll have a really good game, and then he'll kind of have a not so great game. So, having those 2 guys play like that, hustling to the ball, I mean, they won, right? So you expect to see more of that going forward.
Absolutely. And, like you said, L. Ellis has been inconsistent. Leighton Blocker has been consistent. I don't necessarily think we're at the point where we need to talk about, there's a point guard position battle here. I think both guys have a spot on the roster. They both bring different things. L. Ellis has the experience of a graduate transfer guard. Leighton Blocker has the youthfulness, and he plays with so much energy, and he's probably a better defender than L. Ellis is as well. So you kind of need both of them to be playing at a really high level. Got away with it tonight with L not having his best performance. Played 12 minutes, had 3 points. Just didn't do a whole lot. Had 2 assists and 2 turnovers, so he's even there. But Leighton Blocker and Devo Davis, you have look at this. Devo played 38 minutes. Blocker played 23 minutes. What was that? Math. 61 minutes combined of your primary ball handlers, and they combined for 13 assists and 1 turnover. That is huge. If they can do that consistently, and obviously it's not going to be that exact number. It's not going to be so many assists and only 1 turnover, but like having a solid assist to turnover ratio like that, being able to facilitate the offense like that is huge for this team. And you saw it in the results. I mean, Arkansas. I mean, we can pull up the advanced metrics here too. Arkansas scored 1.347 points per possession. That is very, very good. It just is. And you look at assists and made baskets. Arkansas had 21 assists on 36 made field goals. There was a stretch in the Bahamas. Arkansas wasn't even getting 10 assists in a single game, and now they're getting 21. They're hitting over the halfway mark on their assist to field goal ratio. It's night and day. And I think Blocker and Devo have kind of spearheaded that.
Yeah, and I mean, a big reason why they're getting so many assists is because of the players around them, right? We haven't even talked about Caleb Battle yet. Dropped another 20, his 5th 20-point game off the bench. Every single game was off the bench, and according to Hog Stats on Twitter, those 5 games of 20-plus points off the bench is the most since JD Notae did that in the 2020-21 season, right? And the season has only really just begun, right? So Caleb Battle is continuing to have that scoring punch. He was efficient today, 7 of 11 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. I mean, we all knew coming into the season that, Battle needed to be that elite 3-point threat, and he has been that so far. But I mean, more than that, he gets to the free throw line, hits his free throws, didn't turn the ball over a lot today. Had 0, actually. He's kind of here and there. He'll have a few turnovers, but today was really, really good. Only had 1 assist, 1 rebound. You don't really need to have a lot of rebounds and assists if you're scoring 25. And then we haven't really talked about it, but Tremont Mark made his debut game back after getting hurt at the very end of the North Carolina game. Had a hip groin issue, according to Musselman, but obviously that wasn't too serious. Got that sorted out. Maybe looked a little bit rusty. I think he had, I can't remember, like 34-ish points against North Carolina, something crazy like that. He went off. Only had 7 tonight, 3 of 6 from the field though. 3 rebounds, 3 personal fouls, 2 assists. Did have 4 turnovers. Like I said, a little bit rusty, but if you can get him firing on all cylinders, once you kind of get into conference play with Caleb Battle, with Devo and Layden Blocker distributing the ball, playing good defense, man, I mean, that guard lineup is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and I even said in the offseason, like, look, this is one of the best backcourts in the country. Caught a little bit of flack for that. When Arkansas lost some games too, especially the UNCG game, and the ball movement wasn't so great. But it's all about getting the guys to click, play it well together, and have their confidence level high. Seems like Ellis's confidence level is kind of up and down. He needs if he can figure out a way to keep his confidence high and play more consistently, then this, no doubt in my mind, is a top 5, top 10 backcourt in the country. There's just too much firepower, too much talent on both ends of the floor. And on top of that, I mean, not just the guards tonight, but the ball movement was so much better that it helped create open looks from 3. And you already mentioned Chandler Lawson hit a 3. He was 1 for 2. He shot 2 threes today. He was 1 for 2. Trevor Brazile was 2 of 3, and then Caleb Paddle's 4-7. You end up shooting over 42% from the 3-point line. So this team is doing a really good job of getting the ball in its scorer's hands and its shooter's hands, and really doing a good job of getting them open looks, and they're doing a good job, to their credit, of making them.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about Trevor Brazile yet, right? He was named the SEC Player of the Week after having, I think, a 19-point outing against a really good Duke team. Tonight, he didn't quite have that many points, but he had some highlight plays. He had some dunks, 13 points, efficient. Efficient, I've said that multiple times. That's kind of a theme, which, I mean, it makes sense. Arkansas scored 97 points tonight. He was 5 of 8 overall, 2 of 3 from 3, continuing to shoot, really, really well from the 3-point line. That's huge for Arkansas. Made a free throw, 4 rebounds, kind of a low rebound night. Like you mentioned earlier, Lawson didn't have a ton. The bigs didn't have a lot. No assists, no turnovers, 2 blocks. So he did his job. He came in, made some highlight plays, looked good doing it. Anytime that you win and scored 97 points in Brazil, only had 13 of those, you had a really good night. Jackson, just to kind of get away from, player stat lines as a whole, this offense played really, really well, obviously, but the defense, still not fantastic. I know Furman coming into this game was one of the better offenses in the country, shot the three, especially at a high rate. They did that again tonight. I think they shot 32 threes tonight, something like that, made 12.
32.
We're red hot in the first half. Arkansas adjusted in the second half. We know Musselman, is really good at making those adjustments. But, just talk a little bit about the defense. What is Arkansas continuing to struggle in? What do they need to get better at as, they get ready to take on tougher competition?
So there are two areas that I've kind of been harping on a lot this season so far already, and it's been the perimeter defense in general, whether that's allowing open looks for jump shots on the perimeter, if that's allowing straight line drives from the perimeter, and then offensive rebounds. This is a Furman team. They're not an outstanding rebounding team by any means. And not to say they're terrible, but they're not an outstanding rebounding team by any means. They also don't have the size that Arkansas had. Even if you run a small ball, Trevor Brazil at the 5 and Chandler Lawson at the 4, which Arkansas did do a fair amount today. They also played Mekhi Mitchell and Jalen Graham. Only winning the rebounding battle as a whole by 3 is a little troubling. They were they were 15-7, I think, in offensive rebounds. It's just not good. Because offensive rebounds, the issue, especially playing a team that gets up a high volume of threes, the best time to shoot a 3 is off of an offensive rebound. And we saw that tonight. I think they hit a couple, if not more, threes off of getting second chance possession, second chance points, all that sort of stuff. So the offensive rebounds and, perimeter defense, you're allowing straight line drives, allowing the open looks on the first go around before you even get to the offensive rebound. Furman was not a great 3-point shooting team coming into tonight. They made just over 8 a game, but they also took like 24, 25 a game, something like that. They shot 32, I think, 32 threes tonight, and they shot almost 38% from deep. So, it's those are my two biggest areas of concern right now. The transition defense too, I've been harping on forever and ever. I don't know. I haven't looked at the transition stats. What did they do? 16 fast break points for Furman. So that's not great either. And I don't really know how to diagnose it either. Transition defense shouldn't be anything that's schematically that difficult. You get back, you find your man, you get back, you stop ball, you get back, you go to the paint. That's transition defense. But for whatever reason, Arkansas has really struggled with that this season. The other stuff, I've talked about in the past and other post-game episodes of, sometimes it's how they're playing their screens up top. Sometimes there's not a communication between the guard and the forward with what the action is, whether they're going over, under, switch. Musselman doesn't switch, but there's all that sort of stuff. I think it's really just a matter of, getting some guys to get used to playing with one another, get used to talking a little bit more, kind of figuring each other out a little bit more, because it is a really new team. There are a lot of new pieces, even though they do return 5 players from last year. Still some learning, still some growing pains, and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully those are things that can get figured out moving forward. I don't think the issue is as much just like isolation one-on-one, like getting beat off the dribble. I think the lateral quickness that was not there last year is more present this year. You see it, Devo Davis, you see it with Layden Blocker, even L. Ellis, and Tremont Mark.
Yeah, and it's really weird, right? Because you would think if Arkansas is struggling in the transition defense, it's because maybe they're trying to go for more defensive rebounds, vice versa. And Arkansas isn't, like you said, they only out rebounded Furman by 3, and they're still giving up transition buckets. But Arkansas has proven that they can rebound. I believe they out rebounded Duke in that win, so they've shown that they can do it. It's just about doing it consistently. We'll see if they can going forward. I completely agree with all of your points. It's a fixable issue, but they've played a handful of games now, and it's still a prevalent issue. So, you've got a few games before conference play that needs to get fixed, or Arkansas is going to have issues. Something I kind of just want to quickly mention. I can't remember, when was the last game that Musselman had a technical. It wasn't that long ago, right?
I mean,
He's had one this season already.
no, he's already gotten one, maybe two. I think the Bahamas he got one. Might have been against Stanford.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. He definitely got one against Stanford. I mean, that's Musselman for you, right? Arkansas's up. Looks like they're gonna win the game fairly easily. Not super easy, but it was pretty much in hand, and he gets a technical right at the end. I don't know. We talked about the assisted turnover ratio. Arkansas did a really good job there. Maybe Jalen Graham, still kind of working his way back. I kind of expected that it would be a slow return for him. Didn't play a lot. This game didn't play a lot in the last game. Still getting back from those back spasms. But, if Arkansas can get him back whenever you've got, all of these guards playing really, really well, they're kind of hitting their stride, right? Tremont Mark is still working his way back too. But if you can get Jalen Graham back, Mekhi Mitchell had 8 points tonight on 4 or 5 shooting. That's efficient. You can't really ask much more than that from Mekhi. Shannon Lawson is playing really, really, really well. Trevin Brazil is playing really, really well. I don't know if Graham, even if healthy, can really work his way in, but if he can, that's really going to raise the potential of this Arkansas basketball team.
Yeah, and I think no matter what, like if Jalen Graham gets to his old self, he gets back 100% healthy, there is a spot for him. Because, I mean, the game plan today obviously was to feed it to the post. I think between Brazil and Lawson and Mekhi, I think the post combined for like 40 points, and I had the math somewhere. It's in my article, actually, the Social Media Reacts, but they were very efficient. They hardly missed any shots. They were really, I think the game plan was really to attack the post, utilize the size advantage, and they did it, and it worked. You saw they did the same thing when Jalen Graham came in. He missed a couple shots. I think he made his one, but he just wasn't quite the same as he has been. Wasn't as efficient. Didn't seem like his spin move worked like it did last year, or even earlier parts that we've seen this year. So you're going to have those type of matchups moving forward as well. You're going to have teams that want to isolate the post, and if you're facing any team, regardless of competition level, and they're trying to isolate the post, that is a game where Jalen Graham can and will help you when he's 100% healthy. He's the best interior post scoring option Arkansas has. He just is, bar none. Mekhi Mitchell has a really good post game. We've seen that more recently. We saw it again today. We saw it last game against Duke. He's put some really good post moves down there, but he's just still not on the same level as Jalen Graham as far as having so many moves and being so good at using them. He's perfected his craft of kind of being able to use his body. And even though like it was kind of a joke when Arkansas landed him and he was being interviewed or talking about his spin move, like everybody just kept calling him or kept calling his move the spin move. It's like his go-to move, the only move he has, but it works so much, so often, like nobody can stop it. Why go away from it? Point being, there will always be a spot for Jalen Graham because he is so good at scoring in isolation situations.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Something that we haven't really touched on, maybe we brushed on it earlier and I just forgot, but Arkansas already lost to a SoCon team this year, UNCG. They were defeated at home before the Battle for Atlantis tournament, I believe, by a score of 78 to 72. Arkansas didn't play very well in that game. I believe UNCG was picked to finish second in the SoCon. Furman was picked to finish first. I'm pretty sure Arkansas got the win tonight, looked better. That loss to UNCG hurts the resume. And, just kind of to speak on that, I believe the net rankings came out today. Arkansas was, what were they, Jackson? I forgot. It was not great. Okay. So 117th is not very good, especially when you think about the fact that Arkansas beat Duke not that long ago. That UNCG loss really hurting them. But it's early in the season. Jackson, to all the Arkansas fans that might be a little bit worried about that, can you kind of talk to them and ease their fears for them?
Absolutely. As the official resident Arkansas bracketologist, I think I'm the only person in Arkansas that does bracketology, at least it's on social media. I've done it the past 3 or 4 years, so I feel like I have some level of authority on this. And also, I'm going to say, I told y'all. People made fun of me. People gave me so much crap for saying UNCG was a bad loss. UNCG will hurt the resume. UNCG will hurt the metrics. And the net debuts in Arkansas is at 117. I hate to say I told you so, but I did. But the good thing is, I'm not trying to be unbearable. I just had to say that. The good thing is, it's only now 9 games into the season. Arkansas is 6-3. UNCG probably will. They're at quad 2 loss right now. More likely than not, they will finish the year a quad 3. That's typically the route that level of competition takes in those type of lower conferences. Hopefully, for Arkansas' sake, they stay at the quad 2. But right now, Duke and Memphis are both quad 2 games as well. So you have a quad 2 win over Duke, quad 2 loss over Memphis. Memphis, harder to call on whether they'll stay or move up to quad 1. You would hope quad 1, probably stay quad 2 for the time being. Duke will almost inevitably be a quad 1 by the end of the year. All that's to say, the net takes in so many different data points, and margin of victory is included, efficiency is included, all that sort of stuff is included. So Arkansas, like for instance tonight, Arkansas being up by 15 points with a minute 28, that's great, or a minute 38, that's fantastic. But then getting the lead cut down to 7 points in 26 seconds of game time, awful for efficiency metrics. Because in in the span of 2 possessions or so, because of the technical free throw, the other free throws, I mean, they hit 5 free throws in a row. You get a point per possession, calculations, all that sort of stuff. And that's just increasing Furman's offensive efficiency, decreasing Arkansas's defensive efficiency. All that kind of factors in. So that factors into KenPom, that factors into net, that factors into all of it, and all factors into the NCAA tournament seeding. All Arkansas has to do to improve its net ranking and its seeding possibilities are win games and win them efficiently. Tonight was better, especially offensively. The offensive metrics should jump up a lot after tonight. Defense might take a hit, allowing however 83 points, allowing over 1 point per possession, all that sort of stuff. Arkansas is in a great shape right now. It would be in a much better shape had they not lost to UNCG. But fortunately, a lot of teams are also losing these games. Mississippi State just lost to Southern University. Kentucky lost at home to UNC Wilmington. I mean, and it's happening across the country. Villanova dropped 2 games to low majors from Philadelphia. So it's really because parity is at an all-time high in college basketball, and it's great. And still, as an Arkansas fan, you really don't want to see the loss to UNCG in Bud Walton Arena. You want to hold Bud Walton Arena at all costs. Can't change it now. Just win moving forward. Arkansas is 6-3. They'll move up. Net is updated every single day. So is KenPom. Going into tonight, Arkansas is 45th in KenPom, 117th in net. They'll move up after today. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, I agree. There's plenty of time in the season. The season is still young. Worrying about the net in early December is not something you should really be doing, especially for this Arkansas team. They're good. They'll figure it out. Just want to run through some quick stat lines. Today, the University of Arkansas shot 60.7% from the field, which is its 4th best in the Musselman era. So, I mean, they scored 97. That's not that surprising. Caleb Battle, after scoring 25 points, hit his 1,000 career mark for his career. He's gotten over 1,000 points now, which is big. L. Ellis is still 91 points away from 1,000 points, so he should, eventually get that. Might be a little bit. And then also we have an update from Eric Musselman in the postgame press conference. Everybody saw Trevin Brazile. He kind of looked like he had an ankle injury. It looks like Eric Musselman says Arkansas forward Trevin Brazile has a pretty bad ankle sprain that is already swollen. Adds that they'll know more 24 hours from now. So, not great, but at least it's just an ankle sprain. That's something that can be, recovered from. And I guess just, going forward, Arkansas plays a good OU team next week. Well, it looks like my co-host here, Jackson Collier. Oh, his laptop crashed. Okay. That's not great. So it's just me running solo here for you guys. OU plays Arkansas here pretty soon. The next game, OU's a really good basketball team. I believe they're undefeated. Let me check here. I want to say they're 7-0, ranked in the top 25. really good team. You know, as Jackson was talking about just a second ago, this is a big opportunity to help that net ranking, to help those statistical rankings. It looks like OU does play Providence tomorrow, so they have one more game until they play Arkansas, and they play Arkansas this Saturday at 3 p.m. in the BOK Center in Tulsa. So if you want to head over to Tulsa to watch that game, it's going to be a big time non-conference matchup. You know, a big opportunity for Arkansas to notch a signature win early in the year to help that net. Trevor Brazil might be questionable. That's definitely going to hurt the Razorbacks. Looks like my co-host Jackson Collar will be joining here soon. He's almost back, I think. Anyway, for anyone listening, you know, we're kind of winding down here, but if you have any questions, be sure to drop them below in the comments section. Jackson, what the heck, man? You left me hanging. What happened there?
My laptop died. My apologies. I don't know how it happened. It was still showing I was at 45% battery, but it crashed.
Thankfully, I'm an amazing showman, and I was able to fill the air while you were gone. I kind of just talked about how, you know, Arkansas has a big net opportunity coming up against OU. Trevor Brazil might be questionable. Maybe, I don't know. It's a few days away. It's this Saturday, right? So maybe he has time to heal. Big opportunity. OU's a really good basketball team. I don't know if anybody really expected coming into the season that OU would be this good, but they're ranked. I believe they're undefeated. They do play Providence tomorrow, so that could change. You know, but just kind of following along with what you said, early in the season, net ranking can change really quickly. It can change this Saturday when Arkansas plays OU. So
absolutely. You know, OU is a team. It'll look great on a resume. I think Arkansas has a really good shot at beating them. It's on a neutral floor. That'll help for net purposes as well, just with formula and everything like that. OU also hadn't really played that tough of a schedule. I looked a couple days ago, and it looked like they were pretty far down on the non-conference strength of schedule. In fact, I'm going to pull that up right now because I want to double check. Easy tip, you can look at the non-conference strength of schedule for anybody just by going to KenPom.com. And it is great. Oklahoma has the 353rd ranked non-conference strength of schedule.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at it here. They beat Mississippi Valley State. So you kind of know automatically that it's probably a weaker schedule. And UAPB,
Yeah, so,
they also beat UAPB.
And that's not to discredit Oklahoma. They're still they're still a good team. They're a good program.
Mm-hmm.
They're a high major program. But, you know, being ranked and all that sort of stuff is good for them. And if Arkansas manages to beat them, even better for Arkansas.
Yep, completely agree. Jackson, I mean, we've kind of run through the whole thing here. If I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, but
no closing thoughts. It's really good that Arkansas, you know, strung together back-to-back wins after the Bahamas. Big win against Duke. Kind of held on and kept from losing the hangover today. So that's always very good. No more questions, I don't guess. But we'll see you. I suppose we will see you after the Oklahoma game.
We will see you after the Oklahoma game this Saturday. Want to just give a quick shout out to everybody still listening. Thank you so much. Continue to do so. We will do this after every game the rest of the season. Be sure to subscribe to HawgBeat.com. We've got a lot of things going on right now. If you didn't know, the transfer portal for football opened today. You can follow me, Riley McFerrin, on Twitter. I will keep you guys updated with everything going on. Really not even a daily basis, more like an hourly basis. Things happen minute after minute. So if you want to keep up with that, be sure to check my Twitter account out. You know, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys on